Hi, this is your Professor David Lane. I'd like to introduce to you the Critical Thinking class, Phil 8. It's an 8-week course in the fall of 2016. As you look over this, you'll see that the course is designed to help us think and write more critically over a broad number of issues, including such subjects as religion, mathematics, physics, psychology, and biology. To achieve this goal, the course will require that each student write 6 distinct essays over the course of the semester. Each essay must be at least 500 words in length and properly edited before final submission to your professor. The student will also take one midterm and one final, again also essay-based, and will attach the same on their own website and email the link to your professor at the designated time. Now, 2 things I want to say. One is you have to create your own website, and I've given you instructions of how to do that here. It's free. It takes literally like 10 seconds to create a website. Then, of course, how long it takes to fill the content is another issue. But everything you do in this class, you will place on this website. You can also share your information to the class forum, which is listed here. We have a general website, NeuralSurfer. We have a library of free materials, about 150 free books. We've created 200 original films. We have my email, of course, is dlanemountsac.edu, Facebook, Twitter I seldom use. But most importantly, we've created audio versions, I think, of each of the books that are required in this class. All the books here are available from Amazon and are at cost. We think textbooks are way too expensive, so we've developed a whole way of producing original books with original content at a much cheaper price. So I'd like you to look at the 10 books that are required, and don't be intimidated because these books are very short, not very long. So let's go over the course to kind of give you an example of how this is going to work. In the beginning, we have an introduction. And these right here are online guides to how to think critically, kind of give you an overarching view of how to think critically. And if I had to summarize it in one sentence, critical thinking is our ability to admit to being wrong. And that's really how science works. It's ability to correct itself. In the first week and two, week 1 and 2, we do mathematics, understanding probability. And the first book is called You Are Probability. The second book is a famous one, and it's written by Huxley, and it's called A Scientific Education. It explains how science works. Then we have required free online readings. And by the way, each of these have audio versions, which I highly recommend. It's a lot easier to listen to a book, especially when you're very busy. Then we have required films. All of these are original films that I've created, not very long, 3 to 5 minutes long. Then, after you've done this, you're going to write an essay, 500 word, focusing on apophenia and patternicity, which will be understandable once you read the book. And if you have any questions, of course, you can always email me. And I've also made films to help you explain the concepts. And then, of course, you don't want to plagiarize, and we've given you some extra credit as well. Then what you'll do is when you finish that, usually by the first or second Sunday, again, there's 2 fundamental deadlines, midterm and final. Those are the ones you really have to worry about. You'll put those on the forum, but most importantly, you'll put your essays on your website, which you've created through Google Sites, which is free. Week 3, we do physics, understanding how things work. It's called the Feynman Imperative. Richard Feynman was a very famous physicist at Caltech. He's now deceased. We have an audio version of that book. Again, we have required online readings. We have films. And again, you do your essay. We have an extra credit book. Then as you get to week 4, understanding evolution, we do biology. Kind of controversial book called Cosmic Creationism, which has the debate about evolution and intelligent design. We have required online readings, and again, required films. Then you'll do your essay, post it on your website. Again, here we have an extra credit book. The midterm is due September 23rd. It'll again be essay-based. I will post that in a couple weeks. Now, the heart of the class is on cults, which is basically how the brain tends to believe its own machinations and not doubt itself. And of course, the word cult is a general buzz term for anything for which somebody focuses their attention on. So one could argue that surfing, even though I'm a surfer, could be considered cultic if you become obsessive about it. But here in Exposing Cults, you'll see we're going to analyze a number of new religions and how people get mesmerized by them, which forces us to think critically about these issues. Then we have the oceanic metaphor. And then as we move on, some extra credit, some books, Human to Human by Nietzsche, and Civilization's Discontents by by Sigmund Freud. Then we move to the brain, understanding neuroscience, the Churchland controversy, the cerebral mirage, the Chandin effect, some online readings, and again your essays. And then we end up with the technological, as we all know, technology has taken over our lives. And therefore there's a book called Surfing the Cerebral Hemispheres. We have the audio version, and we talk about If the Singularity is Near, Brave New World Revisited, Global Positioning Intelligence readings online, and some required films, essays, and then of course your final exam. So let me recapitulate, make it very simple. Each week you're going to be reading one of the books, watching the required films, and then posting an essay. You'll put all of this on your website, which you create, which is free. And if you want to read the books, you can buy them from Amazon at cost, practically speaking, or you can get the audio versions, which are very cheap, or you can even read the free PDFs. It's up to you. We've tried to give a lot of different formats. If you have any questions, email me at dlane@mountsac.edu. Don't be intimidated by the amount of reading. It's not as long as everybody thinks it is. I've tried to break it up to make it more interesting. It's good to have you in class. Thank you so much.